Welcome to Guided by Third Wheel, the podcast. My name is Amber Ireland, and I'm here with my co-host, Jill Bucaro. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Guided by Third Wheel. This episode is going to be a little bit different because this is going to be our last episode, at least in this format, in this direction. If you are a super loyal listener, you may have noticed that we've missed a couple weeks when episodes would have normally dropped. We never missed a Friday. We did every other Friday from September of 2023 until just a month or so ago. And Amber and I took a pause because life is lifing as it does, and we were making some decisions about what we wanted to do with the podcast. And we have decided that for now, we are going to end it. And we certainly did not want to end it without saying goodbye.
Yep.
So that is what we are doing today. We want to share a little bit about why we're taking the pause on the podcast in this format, give you guys a little update on what's been going on with us. I don't have a whole ton of wisdom to share. Maybe Amber does. Maybe I'll get a little download of something I want to send out into the podcast world, but that is what we are here to do today.
Let's reflect on the podcast first. This podcast has been such a learning experience in so many ways. When we first started, we just decided, let's just start this. And then there was, what do we talk about? And what is the format? And do we make video? And do we make audio? And we did quickly realize that video was hard. And
certainly very hard, yes.
Then the editing and where do we put it? There's just such a learning curve at the beginning there that I think we did finally almost master.
100%. Yeah, I know. In a beautiful world where we didn't have full-time jobs almost the entire time when we did the podcast, we tried to figure out YouTube. If somebody can figure out YouTube, shoot us a text. We'd love to learn. We got into a great rhythm, and what everybody says about podcasts is you have to be consistent. And by God, as two type A girlies, we put that flipping podcast out come hell or high water.
Yes, we did.
Every other Friday for 2.5 years. Yeah, it was wild. And it's been weird to me these last 2 months or so. The rhythm of life for me has felt different. We met typically every Sunday if we were out of town or things came up, but we really had to meet almost every single Sunday to get this podcast out to you. So not meeting the last couple Sundays has been kind of weird too. But yeah, I feel like we learned a lot. I was surprised by how many people listen to us.
Yes.
Prattle on from the very beginning, and how many people have stuck with us.
Yeah.
I do think we have a little bit of a niche. I mean, our OGs have been with us from the beginning, and it's so funny. It still surprises me every single time I'll be out and about and somebody will be like, oh my gosh, remember when you said da-da-da on the podcast?
Yes.
When I have to tell you guys, when we first started the podcast, I listened to every episode 3 times because I was, did we sound crazy? Did we sound weird? Did I say something totally offensive without realizing it? But then by the end, I'd come record it, never think about it again, because Amber does all the editing for them. And people would be like, remember when you said that? And I would be like, totally. It's so wise.
I will say that has been wild as well for me, because when people say, oh, I listened to that podcast, or they will give me back the words that I've used. They say, I remember that one time when you said this. And I'm like, I don't even remember saying that.
Yes.
However, it also is very flattering, I think is the right word, that folks are listening and that what we've been saying has been resonating with folks and hopefully helping people along their own path and their own healing journey and their own journey through their career and their life and growing up and leveling up and all of those pieces. If you are somebody that has stuck with us, or maybe you're listening to this 3 years from now and you're just getting to the last episode, we do appreciate you.
Yes, 100%. So much of the content of our episodes, certainly after the first couple, we are organized enough that at the beginning we're like, we have to have some ideas of topics fleshed out. But those exhausted themselves in the first 4 months. So really, so much of our content was processing about about what we were going through, right? Whether it was being unsure about relationships or experiencing issues in jobs or rubbing up against some of the really uncomfortable parts of leadership. And what I've learned in my however many years of life is that we do all experience a lot of the same shit.
Yeah.
The human experience can be very different, but there are some common themes that particularly women in our demographic, in our career field, we're going to come up against a lot of the same stuff. And it's been a nice reminder to me that I'm not the only person that feels this way.
Yeah.
I'm not the only person that rubs up against this struggle. You know, I'm not the only person that gets my feelings hurt really easily or all these different things. That part, when we're talking about people coming up to us, hopefully it feels validating for the people listening. And I can say 100% it feels validating for me.
Absolutely.
I was looking back at all of our past episodes, which there are so many.
Yes.
I mean, we jabbered and jabbered and jabbered for the last almost 3 years. And do you have a favorite episode or a favorite thing that came out in the topics that we talked about?
I don't know that there was a favorite, but I always come back to the Bridgerton episodes that we did. I think we did 2. The first time we talked about Bridgerton, we talked about Bridgerton and rom-coms in general.
Yes.
And this false story that comes from a rom-com and how we end up almost idolizing or romanticizing being in relationship with people who are shitty.
Are mean to us.
Right. And then we're waiting to be chosen by a shitty person. And I really, when we talk through that, I know that initially we had an idea about it, but I think the more we talked about it during the podcast, I'm like, this is really fucked up. That this is so much of the narrative that we watch in media and then ingest and think is okay.
100%. And I hope that we are just late to the game. And most of the other women, because the trope is about men treating women shittily most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's some media and stories and shows like where it's the opposite, but that's not typically what I see.
Right.
I hope most women were not so late to the game as us, because I can remember the exact moment I was watching Bridgerton, because really that first episode about Bridgerton begins with a 20-minute rant from me about how angry I was, and then I think we unpack it. But it's crazy that I went, 35, 36 years of my life just thinking that this is okay. So I just say all that to say, I hope that most women figured it out a lot sooner than me and tagged that as this is absolutely ridiculous. And it is everywhere.
Yeah.
It is in shows. It is in movies, for children,
Books.
for adults,
Yeah.
books, short stories. We see it playing out in reality TV.
I mean, we see it playing out in our own lives and with our friends and our family. And I hope that we were late to the game, but I don't think we were because that would not sell anymore if we
That's
were.
true. It is so funny. I used to joke, and this probably has a lot to do with work trauma and burnout too, but my reading of choice used to always be romance novels. I don't like the super, super smutty stuff. If it's a romance where the guy's kind of a dick and there's a little mystery, that used to be what I consumed for a mind-numbing activity. And now that shit just makes me sick. I'm like, this guy is a loser. Why would you ever even like him? And now I read murder and thrillers and things like that, which I'm not saying is less problematic, just problematic in a different way. That one was one of my faves for sure. I liked the imposter syndrome one.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good feedback on the imposter syndrome one. I liked the leadership ones too. Leadership has been such an interesting journey just for me in particular. And looking back at those and reflecting on some of those lessons we shared and we processed through, I thought those were pretty cool too. One thing we've considered doing if we do rekindle the podcast in a different form, when we started bringing other people on and hearing like their areas of expertise and the cool stuff they're doing, and that back and forth with new people I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that was nice. That's what I was going to say would be my second favorite, was having guests on and learning more about things that they were doing in their life. We had the Enneagram. We talked about spiritual work and healing work and energy work and how to use that in your self-care and self-care practices. And that was fun and a nice spin toward the end, especially because Jill and I felt like, well, we keep saying the same thing.
Yes.
Are people getting bored with this? Let's bring some other people, some different ways that people are looking at things and reflecting there.
100%. Just remembering or reaffirming just how much wisdom lives in our community, right?
Yes, absolutely.
In the people that we spend time with. And Kate, who Enneagram is not her full-time gig, but it's something she's really delved into, and just how articulate and interesting it was to hear her perspective and her experience with it. The podcast we did with Perna about the healing work, Taylor talked about financial wellness. And I'm like, gosh, I am just surrounded by so many strong, brilliant women. And that was really cool. And if we ever do pick up the podcast game again, that's where we're leaning, right? Is how do we showcase some of the real brilliance and really cool work that is going on in our community. I did love those as well.
Yeah.
And every single one of them had 2 episodes because I feel like we're going to do 1 episode and then Amber and I are, no, but I want to know this and I want to know this. And what do you think about that? And all of a sudden we have like 4 hours of content that we need to push out. Those were really cool as well. This feels like a natural transition when we're talking about ending this podcast. I've been thinking about it a lot the last couple weeks, and I really feel like we have been able to push out the wisdom that we carry at this time into the world. If you know me, you know I've always got something to say, but I really feel like I've been able to say it. I've gotten to share the things that I have experienced that I might want people to know. I never want to get into a place where we sound like a broken record or where it's just getting old and tired. One of my biggest things I talk about a lot is when people overstay their welcome. Whether it's in leadership positions, whether it's in relationships. We are so sometimes scared of natural endings that we prolong things to the point until we're just torturing ourselves and everyone around us. This podcast has been such a beautiful journey. To me, it felt like we were getting there, and I did not want to do that to us or to our listeners.
But also, you can find both of us on social media. We are both active on Facebook, Instagram. I've got a TikTok, so you can go over there too. But if you're ever like, man, I'd like some Jill wisdom, I'd like some Amber wisdom, just go look. There's a video.
Truly, like I said, I always have something to say. It just seemed like in this particular format on this particular topic, unfortunately, until somebody takes me out, I am never going to shut up. Unfortunately for you, unfortunately for me. So that's kind of what we were thinking. We both have a lot of really exciting career and life stuff going on right now. So transitioning to a place where we could showcase guests and talk about the work that they're doing doesn't seem super feasible right now to be able to do it and the way that it needs to be done.
Right.
And there's so much in this life that we all want to do, and having to decide which things to do and where to put our energy can be really tough.
But we're not taking the podcast down, so where it is and what's out there will live there. And if we decide we want to do a special episode, you'll know if you're following. It'll pop up for you.
Yes, do not unfollow, because maybe something really cool will happen down the road. But yes, it's gonna stay up. We are still both active on social. Our business that we started, oh my God, 8 years ago is still going strong. Third Wheel Consulting. I'm where I've always been. All of my social medias are Jill Bucaro. There's only 2 Jill Bucaros in the entire United States, so it will not be hard to find me. And then obviously still doing a ton of work with Third Wheel, and often taking weird videos of me popping off in my car, posting them as reels on social media. So if you're looking for a rant, there are many to choose from me personally.
As far as my social media goes, it is the same. You can still find me in the same places. I do daily card readings. I am most active on Instagram, so if you want to make sure you get everything, follow me on Instagram. But I'm on Facebook now too, as well as on TikTok, which feels like a wild place.
TikTok is wild.
So I'm there as well. My social media has not changed. I have opened a second business, Journey as Guided, and my intuitive and energy work and coaching has moved over onto that platform. I am doing a lot of the same things that I was doing, just in a different container there. I have card readings there. I'm doing hypnosis now. I'm doing energy work, and I'm doing that virtually. Before I was only doing energy work in person, but now I've moved that to a virtual offering. So if you're not here in Ohio or close by, you can get that. Or if you just don't want to journey out of your house and you want to lay in your own bed, you can do that. I'm still doing coaching, and I've been doing some events in the community as well. I have singing bowls now, and I have been doing sound baths in collaboration with other practitioners and other other business owners here in the area. So if you're interested in something like that, you can always check my website for any events that are there.
Awesome. And we'll leave all of those links in the show notes here so you have them.
Yeah.
The last thing that we have to do, or that I feel like I need to do, is express some gratitude. I just want to name how incredibly cool this experience has been.
Yeah.
Never in a million years did I think I would host a podcast. That was not something that was on my career bingo card. And, you know, the community that we were able to create, we talked a little bit about this at the beginning, just to hear feedback from folks, to get some of that validation that we're all just out here trying to make it. Right? And some of us are really trying to be good people, you know, and send good energy out into the world while we do it in a world that just feels increasingly hard.
Yeah.
It has been such a beautiful journey. Yeah. And I think if we would have started back in September of 2023 and not a single person listened, we would have petered out pretty quickly. So just a huge thank you to everybody who listened and who came along with us on the journey. It has been an absolutely beautiful experience, and one that I will carry with me forever.
I am grateful for this experience. I love that people listen, and I love that people are getting something out of this, and that we have been able to share our own experiences to help other people, but also just being able to process things.
Yes.
Has been huge, because in this time where things have changed so much, the ability to process it, and to process it in a way that supports other people, has just been so amazing.
It's been incredible. We just wanted to say bye, or see you later. Thank you guys so much, and never, ever, ever hesitate to reach out to us.
Absolutely.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Guided by Third Wheel, the podcast. We would be honored if you would like, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, be well.